Oh dear. Gee. I wonder why.
I mean, they did technically say they were going to deliver something big, so Apple didn't technically lie there.
What a painful time to be an Apple enthusiast. Maybe I should just go buy a Mac Mini right now to make myself happy.
Shall I talk about something that's worse than Windows, though?
Worse than Windows? What can be worse than... Oh,
yes.
Gosh!
Yes!
Okay, you are joking about worse than Windows. Oh, gosh! Yeah, my mom texted me, oh, are you going to come down and eat pork chops or something? Like, in the middle of a podcast here.
Doesn't your mom know you're recording? Hello everybody, welcome back to the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Bagger from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is DeWolf.
And TabCat406 is not here with us, but this is going to be our last episode for a couple of weeks or so, because I will not be, both me and Alpha are going to be gone for next week when we most typically record, so as a result there will be no episode that week, which means that the next episode after this one will be when we talk about Dub.
And who knows when this one will come out, because I'm editing it! Yay!
Yeah, somebody's going to Europe, and that means that somebody can't edit the show.
So, yep, I'm editor of today's show, so... Sorry if you don't like it.
Actually, I think Alpha's editing is a little bit better than mine, but... Well, I like doing it just because it's faster, and also I've managed to nail out get down most of the quirks.
Well, you generally have more free time than I do. I have a 9-to-5 job plus a weekend job that I have to attend to, and on top of all my YouTube stuff and home chores and all that, you got much more free time than me.
That's true, because I can sometimes, especially on Fridays when I don't have school, I can upload the show. I can upload episodes of TIFP, and I can get them done sometimes by the Saturday. And even if there is school, typically the latest they'll come out is Monday.
Yeah.
After the
free time. Oh, do I miss it?
Well, you know.
So, anywho, while we are still trying to attempt to gain our free time, how about we turn to our notes and figure out what our first topic is?
Oh yeah, so our first topic is my latest Idiot Award nominees.
I should probably scroll through my phone and try to find my latest nominees too. So...
Alright, so I'm gonna go... By the way, I have some guests for Season 5 of TIFP, I guess I should mention.
Exciting.
And by that, I mean, I am referring to some of my real-life friends who want to be on, so... Yeah.
Okay, so it's not this channel. I guess it's the Drive channel.
Alright, and this is the Season 5 premiere, by the way. So... Yeah, but okay, so... This first Idiot Award nominee is a comment on one of my jailbreak tutorials for macOS and macOS only. You know what somebody asked?
Does it work on another version? Oh wait, no, it doesn't work on Windows.
Yes. I replied, I stated that in the video, because I hate it when people ask for if stuff works on other stuff besides what I stated in the tutorial.
It's literally written in the title, dude!
I know, for like for example, this is just random examples and things, but like some people ask like for my download tutorials for the iPhone 4 if they work on the iPod Touch 4 and whatnot. And so yeah, but this is my other Idiot Award nominee, which is this is the Idiot Award winner of today's show, but this is on my unboxing and demo of my, hang on, let me grab it. Actually not from the cabinet. my Polino portable printer. This is the box for it.
Yep.
And somebody... You're actually proven comment this point, as you'll see, but this guy commented, amazing house, amazing, how slow this guy is. Got tired of watching before he even got the item out of the box. And there's 3 problems with that comment that I highlighted in my reply. Number 1, there was a lot of packaging to unbox for that printer, hence my slowness. Number 2, the commenter commented referring to me in the third person as if I wouldn't read this, which is rude given that my channel has under 2,500 subscribers. So I still have time to read all my comments. And number 3 is, what is actually amazing is how poor your attention span is, likely from spending too much time watching TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. Not the smartest guy out there. Oh, I found real big idiot. I found real big idiot for my idiot awards.
Oh, please.
In my comment section. So remember my video explaining hydrogen cars are not the future of passenger cars?
Oh, yes!
This
I know
guy. Oh my goodness, this guy. All right. So yeah, this was hydrogen. What's the official title of the video? Let me just get that correct real quick. Why the hydrogen car doesn't make sense. All right. Here comes the comment. Why? When the engine is hydrogen, then you only have to put pure water in the tank. That's not how it works, buddy. Not gonna charge the batteries. There is no batteries. Well,
yes, there are
batteries. One, as always. The battery is making the correct hydrogen to the... What the hell is this guy talking about? Remember that in today, we have many electric cars. Remember this. The batteries are being produced in China. A lot are, but not all of them. And the manufacturing costs are way bigger than normal car with engine. Actually, we've basically approached cost parity. Fun fact. So, no, that's not entirely true. So, yeah, I'm trying to say the green car, the electric car is not so green. So I reply saying, I'm just going to say, if you're going to advocate for something, which he's trying to advocate from the hydrogen car from the looks of it, you might want to try understanding what you're actually advocating for. No, you can't generate power by splitting water molecules apart. You need energy to separate the two elements. So, well, yes, you can create hydrogen, and you can split hydrogen and oxygen apart from water. The problem is you need to put energy into it for that to happen. While if you do the opposite, that's how you get energy out of it. So it's like... It goes in reverse, effectively. It's just, in order for that, you gotta put energy into it. You're not getting anything out of it. That's why that don't make any sense. Alright. I also said, yes, there is another battery aside from the 12 volt. Its purpose is to fill in for the time delay caused by the fuel cell needing time for the chemical reaction to process. Yes, there is an actual delay between putting fuel in and energy coming out. There's a couple second delay, so that's why there's a high voltage battery to take care of that. Yeah, continuing on. Otherwise, you will experience a 2-second delay from flooring the accelerator to the car actually responding, which is a massive safety hazard, by the way. And not all EV batteries come from China. Tesla and Panasonic, for example, make their batteries here in the US, which is why Teslas have always qualified for the tax credit, while others don't. And while we're basically nearing cost parity... between building gas cars and electric cars, The problem is the majority of EV options on the market are luxury options and not really designed/optimized for the everyman Joe Schmo. I also think people don't consider how much the average gas car costs these days. Genuinely, I think a lot of people forget how much gas cars cost these days. They're not as cheap as you think they once were. I mean, take a look at the average selling price for a new car these days. Before COVID hit, it was just around $40,000. It's now around $50,000. That's a 25% increase.
Yes.
So, just pointing that out. So then the guy keeps trying to clap back by saying, "Oh, good answer. But what about the mining? To manufacture each battery, you must process 25,000 pounds of brine for the lithium and 30,000 pounds of ore for the cobalt, 5,000 pounds of ore for the nickel, but basically a bunch of other materials." And then I instantly shot him down by saying, "We have batteries in electric cars today that don't have nickel or cobalt." Yeah, how about that?
Also, hydrogen cars also have batteries.
Yeah, they have that. Oh, and actually, if you read my comment after that, I pointed out, yeah, not all EV batteries are made with these minerals, such as LFP, which is iron-based and has no cobalt. We also have the technology to recycle batteries, which is being practiced today. So as we continue to progress, our need for new materials for these batteries will decrease. Also, here comes the important part, did you know that cobalt is a required material for refining gasoline? And hydrogen fuel cells use cobalt as their catalysts.
Oh! Sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oops! Meanwhile, there are some electric cars that have no traces of cobalt in them. Can't do that with the hydrogen car. So, yeah, thought I'd point that out. Then he goes on to say, "Oh, well, someone's found a way to they found a material that reacts with the water that splits the hydrogen and oxygen apart." And then I pointed out, okay, even if as cool as that idea is, there's a slight practicality problem with that. I had to ask him. What happens if the temperature outside drops below 0 degrees Celsius?
Water becomes a solid.
It freezes. There's a reason why hydrogen cars, all of them, doesn't matter which one it is, all of them have this. They all have a water purge button. You can probably figure out what that reason is.
So that way you don't have ice in the car.
It's a combination of, we don't want to clog up the pipes. That would be real bad, and that would potentially damage the fuel cell if we can't get the water out of there. But also, did you know water actually expands when it freezes? Doesn't contract, it actually expands. So, if you have water freezing and expanding, what do you think that's going to do to the water lines?
You'll burst them.
Exactly. So, as cool as that idea is where, we can just pour water in it, it's like, hey, we got water everywhere. That becomes very unpractical when it drops below 32 degrees Fahrenheit outside.
Which it does basically everywhere in the United States.
And not California.
Yeah, like there's some places there's some places where it doesn't, but there's only parts of states where it doesn't do that.
Yeah, so sorry, dude. But no, you really had no clue what you were talking about at all. So yeah, that's my idiot award for this episode.
All right, well, shall I move on to our next topic now?
Absolutely. What is next?
So Apple discontinued the official 30-pin charger, which let me grab.
Oh, really?
one.
You can't buy those new anymore?
Or they'll still ship. The listing will still come up, but they're sold out. So that's lightning. There's 30-pin. I'm just using a 30-pin cable. Why is this so? Hang on. Gotta find a 30-pin cable. Oh, found one. This is 30-pin for reference. This is what iPhones
those
and
things.
iPads used to use prior to 2012. And iPods.
Yep. Funny enough, I've never actually dailied a 30-pin Apple device.
I think a lot of people at this point haven't, because because think about it, most people in Generation Alpha probably haven't daily 30-pin devices.
No, most people in my generation probably have, actually.
Yeah, I'm talking like Gen Alpha, like people born between 2010 and 2024.
Oh,
Yeah, we're in Generation
no.
Z, and I'm one of the youngest people in Gen Z, and I'm one of the younger people in Gen Z, and even I have daily 30-pin devices.
Yep.
Actually, I daily a 30-pin device all the way up until December of 2016. Hang on, let me grab it. It's going to require going through quite a big stack. But my iPad 3rd generation was my main iPad until December 2016.
Yep. And that was the last 30-pin iPad, I believe.
It was the last 30-pin Apple device.
Oh, Apple device, period?
Yep, because the iPad 3 3rd generation launched in March of 2012. And the iPhone 5 and iPod Touch 5 and iPod Nano 7 released in September 2012, and the iPod Mini 1, the iPad 4 soon followed in October.
But yeah, come to think of it, I've never dailied any Apple device with 30-pin. They've all been either Lightning or USB-C. Or, well, in the Apple Watch's case, the Apple Watch charger, but... Yeah, never dailied a 30-pin Apple product. Even my first iPod. This isn't 30-pin. This is Lightning.
I find it funny how even though I'm not going to say how much younger than you I have, but I find it funny how even though I'm a little bit younger than I'm younger than Alpha, even though I'm younger than him, I find it funny I've been using Apple for so much longer.
For context, I'm in my 20s. I'll let you guys know that
Yeah.
much. I'm in my 20s.
Yeah,
you're
so that means
17 and
Alpha's
I'm in my 20s, so...
So that means you're at least 3 years older than me.
Yep. But yeah, that's funny. You've dailied 30-pin devices before. My first Apple product never even had 30-pin. It was Lightning. So
And funny enough, I actually went back from a Lightning to 30-pin briefly because my iPad Mini will... Hang on, let me grab it. I got my iPad Mini 1 in December for Christmas in 2012. Which has a dent in it, I just noticed. I got it for Christmas in 2012. However, because I wanted a bigger iPad to replace my old iPad 1, first generation, it died. As a result, I got my iPad 3rd generation for my 6th birthday back in March 2014.
So.
But all this to say is
RIP 30-pin connector. You probably won't be missed.
Well, just make sure to hold on to your 30-pin connectors, chargers, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll probably be some other third party that'll make I'm sure some third parties are going to keep making them.
Oh, I'm sure
A
you
30
can
pin.
find third parties of even older standards that we don't use today.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely, but like you can still find third party micro USB and mini USB ports, but like mind you, 30 pin was a standard that started on the technically iPod third generation uses a different 430 pin, but 30 pin was a standard that started with this iPod back in 2003. So
I'm actually surprised that you can still buy motherboards and computer mice with serial ports on them.
that's cool. I love the iPod first generation's manual wheel.
I've never. It wasn't until actually the Apple TV remote. That is the only way I've ever figured out this click wheel thing.
Yeah,
I could never figure it out on an iPod.
Well, you've also never used an iPod for click wheel, so at least from what.
Oh, I have. It's just I never. I was so young when I used it. Yeah, my parents each had the HP version of the iPod Classic. Yeah. Despite my parents not being big on Apple anything, they did used to have iPods. In fact, my mom still actually does have her iPod Touch 6 Gen, and yes, she is still using it.
Oh, that reminds me, I'm going to make a 10-year retrospective on it this July.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that came out in 2015?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, if I recall, that she bought it Christmas of that year, so... Yeah, she is still using that thing. Despite she complains that I daily 2 phones. Do you know how many phones that she has?
2 and her iPod Touch.
Her Galaxy S23, which is her current daily. My old Samsung Galaxy A50, which she dailied for a couple years. Her old Galaxy S5 and her iPod Touch. Oh,
That's
and throw
four.
a Samsung tablet in that too.
I only daily technically, well, I don't use my MacBook every day, so technically considering, I only daily my iPhone, my Apple Watch, my AirPods, and my iPad. That's it.
Yep, my daily devices are, well, on the weekends I don't typically use the 13 Pro Max that much unless I'm filming videos, but I do use it at work because it's got some of my work stuff on it. And then this has my SIM card in it, so yeah, of course I'm dailying this thing. I'm carrying it with me everywhere. The MacBook I use every single day without question. It's just... I love the Mac even more than the iPad. I'll pull the iPad out for some things, and actually just yesterday I put it to real good use. One of my friends was asking me to mask out some text and change the color, so with the Apple Pencil I was able to isolate the text from the background, delete the background, and change the text to whatever color he wanted. And so, yeah, I put the iPad Pro to some good use actually yesterday, but
That's cool.
No, most of the time I love my Macs. I just love the Mac. I don't know if, like, the way Randy Vasquez describes it is he grew up in the desktop computing age, and that's kind of where I grew up mostly too. My family's never been big on tablets and smartphones. I mean, you remember how long it took for my parents to finally get a smartphone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't, if I recall, they didn't get one until the end of 2018. That's when they got smartphones. End of 2018.
My mom got her first smartphone in 2009, and my dad got his first smartphone in 2011.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, aside from that, they were using flip phones, and we didn't really have that many tablets around the house, so no, all of our computing was done on desktop computers, and maybe that's a part of the reason why I like the Mac so much. It's just, the way I'm used to using technology, it's desktop computing. But I mean, I'm not complaining. I still like my smartphone and how convenient it is, and it's not like it's not painfully difficult to use. But I don't know. It's just I kind of because my family was so late to getting on board with the whole touchscreen interfaces and well, in general, they're just slow to getting onto new technology in general. Yeah, I've been stuck in the desktop computing days for so long, and that's why I daily drive my MacBook Pro so much. It's just that's the interface I prefer, and also it just iPad OS needs to be better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been using my iPad since I was 2, almost 3 years old. But my family in January 2012 did get this Toshiba desktop, which that desktop still works. I haven't used it in quite a while, but or used it in a little bit, but it still works. But my point is that that was my first actual computer that I'm glad to own now.
Yep, we don't have the old tower that I originally used to learn, the old XP tower. We don't have that anymore. That's gone, but we still have the Windows 7 tower.
If you want to re-experience Windows XP, if you downgrade, you can actually install on your iMac, because if you downgrade your iMac to, you have the disk for it, so Snow Leopard. If you put it on Snow Leopard, then Boot Camp will let you put Windows XP on it. And Vista if you want to. Like that version of Boot Camp will.
If I recall, somewhere around here I have a thumb drive with Linux, and I put Linux. I've gotten that thing to run Linux.
Yeah, you could do that, but you could also, and if you have a newer version of Boot Camp, you can natively run Windows 7 on that Mac too. And if you go and if you're willing to, and of course you can't, via some hacking, you can get to run Windows 10 and even 11, but
I won't need to do that because I won't need to do that because I got a new computer sort of coming in a few months.
Oh, shall we talk about that now?
You know what? Sure, why not? So, basically, I've talked about this for a while. I've talked about how I love my airport time capsule. Don't get me wrong. There's just couple issues with it. Issue number 1, I'm almost out of storage.
That's a small issue, actually.
Yeah, that's a
one.
So, yeah, number 1, I'm out of storage. Number 2, I can't really edit any videos off of it because, I remember the days of editing off of an old hard drive, and that was not fun. And, it's even worse with that hard drive. That hard drive is very much optimized for long-term archival storage and not for, working off of, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
it's not fast enough for me to edit videos on it, even if I had the storage to do it. And the reason why I want to do that is, I'm getting back to my car reviews. I just uploaded a car review this week, actually.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. The problem is those videos get so large, I often run out of storage on my 1 terabyte MacBook Pro. So, it'd be nice to have a proper server with fast speeds that I can actually edit off of, and the airport time capsule can't do that. And then finally, thing number 3, if that hard drive dies, I am screwed. Because a unique function about proper servers is you'll have multiple hard drives in them, but you can configure them to have them all share the data. So that way, if one fails, it effectively becomes a math equation when you put in a new drive. The rest of the drives will each have a set, but the one drive won't have anything. So at that point, it's, oh, here's the equation, solve for the variable, and then boom, easy data recovery. If you have a hard drive that fails. The airport time capsule, yeah, it only has one hard drive, so can't do that. So my data is already at risk. So, as much as I love the concept of that thing, and I'm probably still going to keep it around for other things like, I don't know, maybe tax documents or something. I'm not sure, because I need to keep my tax documents somewhere else other than my computer. Yeah, I figured, you know what, let's build an actual proper server solution that, for one, has a lot more storage than 3 terabytes. I'm talking, we're going to get into the hundreds of terabytes here.
Oh.
Yep. That's going to be pretty expensive too, by the way. I am not prepared for that big of a bill. Girl, it's got to be loud enough. Jeez. So, yeah, the cost of all those hard drives is going to be pretty big. But aside from having hundreds of terabytes for storing an archive, I'd also like to put in a couple, like, 4 terabyte SSDs so that way I could actually edit off of this server should I have a project that's too big for my MacBook Pro. Oh, and at the same time, it'll also double as a Windows/Linux PC.
Sounds very cheap. Not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the computer itself is going to cost around $1,000. That's before the hard drives. With the amount of storage that I'd like to put in there, the hard drives themselves cost like $300 each.
You're going to have to build it one piece at a time.
Yeah, that's effectively what I'm going to do. So at first, I'm going to focus on just building the computer itself, because I still got some time before the airport officially fills up. So I'm going to build the computer itself, get an actual operating system working on it. And then once the hard drive officially fills up, that's probably when I'm going to have to bite the bullet and just order... Maybe not all of the hard drives at once, because again, it's like $300 for a 20 terabyte hard drive. Maybe buy like 2 20 terabyte hard drives and then work my way up as the money comes in.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. I also need to figure out how to spray paint, because unfortunately you can't pick up any white PC cases that have enough bays to store server amounts of hard drives. They're all basically black, so I'm going to have to get a can of spray paint and figure out how to spray paint it white. Because my question is, do you need a primer? Or is it baked
spray
into the
painting?
paint?
I
don't
don't
know.
think. For spray painting, I don't think so. But I'm not a spray painting expert.
Neither am I. That's why I need to look into that more. But oh, and I haven't shown anyone the components list. But because I'm also... This thing's going to sit out in the open, and I don't want it to just be an eyesore. So I tried ordering a case that lets you see into it. And I haven't ordered them yet, but I've selected a bunch of RGB fans, RGB memory, just putting a little RGB on it because I like color. I just do.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty server. I mean, I already have a pretty server. My my airport time capsule. It's pretty. It's a pretty design. So. Yeah.
That'll sound.
Even though some people are going to think, "Oh, you're building a gaming PC or something." Nope. It's not for gaming. Although maybe at some point down the road, I might look for dedicated graphics card, so that way I can use it for SolidWorks or something, because I know 100% that the integrated graphics in that Intel chip is not enough for it.
It's going to be an Intel PC.
I wanted Intel for Thunderbolt. So that, and a way I'm trying to cost down on my components. We're currently on 14th generation Intel chips. I am actually using 12th gen. I'm using a 12th gen Core i7 instead of a 14th gen for 2 reasons. One, it's cheaper. Can't argue the cost. 2, apparently 13th and 14th gen are having a bunch of voltage and corrosion issues.
Oh, that's a good issue to avoid.
Yeah, so... Oh, and 3, well, my Dell XPS already has 12th gen Intel Core i7, and I have plenty of CPU horsepower as is in that thing. And considering that, well, all it's doing is running a server, though, if I do run SolidWorks, I know it'll have enough CPU horsepower for it. So, yeah, I figured 12th gen Intel works, and that generation of, well, the comparable generation of AMD CPUs, there's a slight thing about them that makes me nervous.
Cost.
Not cost. Actually, AMD CPUs are a great value. My issue is where the pins are.
Where are they?
So on Intel CPUs, the pins are located on the motherboard. On AMD CPUs, though I think they changed that for either this generation or maybe last, but I know especially for that period of generation, AMD CPUs, and the majority of them, the pins are on the CPU itself, not on the motherboard.
Oh.
So, I mean, I already had a nerve-wracking experience with the iMac when I did the logic board transplant, because I had to pull the CPU out of that, and oh, funny enough, guess where the pins were on the... Guess if the pins were on the CPU or the motherboard.
Motherboard.
Wrong.
The CPU.
They were on the CPU. Yeah, my big thing is, I do not have steady hands, and with the CPU, you've got to be careful, especially if it's if the pins are on the CPU, because if you don't have steady hands, you accidentally break it or you push it in or something. Oh, is unbending those pins such a pain. So I get nervous when the pins are on the CPU itself, and the iMac actually had the pins on that Intel CPU, which is, I expected them to be on the motherboard, but nope, they were on the CPU. Thankfully that transplant went smoothly, but yeah, there's just a couple reasons. That, and I'm not as familiar with AMD's naming scheme, and I want to make sure I know what it is that I'm actually getting. I can at least understand Intel's lineup enough to not accidentally order a CPU without integrated graphics.
That's good.
Because, yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for, here's the tip. If you're looking for an Intel CPU, if you want integrated graphics, do not buy an Intel CPU with an F at the end of its name. If there's an F at the end of its name, that means it has no integrated graphics.
There's just this, the sun is really starting to get in my way. My way.
Yep. So, there, I hope you guys learned something. But, yeah, AMD, I've learned most AMD CPUs actually don't include integrated graphics, though I'm not sure which ones do. And I know because I am not getting a dedicated GPU at first, because for the most part I really don't need one as of right now. I want integrated graphics, because if I don't, then I have no graphics at all. And I will not be able to set that thing up.
I'd say having integrated graphics are good, but I'm glad you're finally getting your server order. But shall we move on to our next topic, which is going to be a fascinating one, finally about. Well, this will be a different Apple topic, but.
Oh yeah, this.
So, John Gruber every year for WWDC, John Gruber hosts the talk show live at WWDC, and they typically have Apple executives on. However, they're not having any Apple executives on this year for the first time since 2015.
Oh dear. Gee. I wonder why.
I don't.
I mean, seriously, when you think about this, guys, what good does Apple have to report? Their big gamble with their Apple Intelligence thing, it was a complete fail. It's a complete failure. It's terrible. Nobody likes it. And so, that's where they invested all their time into, especially in talk shows before. They mentioned, oh, yeah, the AI stuff, yeah, we don't have anything now, but, oh, do we have stuff coming? And, oh, we can't wait to show you what we have coming. They're talking so big back then. And look what they delivered.
They delivered some of the worst AI on the market.
Oh, yeah. You delivered something big, Apple. A big failure.
I mean, they did technically say they were going to deliver something big, so Apple didn't technically lie there.
Although that's not something I would go bragging about, to be honest. And so, yeah, the AI stuff was a complete fail for them. The state of their software right now is in a place that leaves a lot to be desired.
Furthermore, there's going to be a lot of questions about if they do this iOS 20. Well, you'll know once you'll probably know once you're watching this episode. But if this whole iOS 26 thing happens this year, they're going to get a lot of questions about that.
And then there's, well, I mean, in reality, the only exciting hardware that I can think of that came out last year was the Mac Mini. That was it. Other than that, pretty much the rest of their products were pretty meh. Including the iPhone 16, and yet I'm probably going to be buying one come September.
Yeah, but I mean, in the words of Andrew Erickson from Tales of Tech, what am I trying? WWDC 25 seems like it's all a big distraction.
That's really the only thing they can do at this point. Because, I mean, every Apple video that I watch that's talking about the current state, it's not good. It really isn't. They delivered arguably one of the worst iPhones last year.
They got caught lying under oath, too. That's another thing.
Yeah, there's that lawsuit. I don't know enough to prove that that's actually what happened, but I don't know. Part of me thinks that part is fake news. I don't know why.
Yeah, I understand why that could be considered fake, why it could be fake news.
Yeah, so there's that. But I mean, yeah, there's that lawsuit going on. There's the whole Apple Intelligence lawsuit going on.
Apple's filing antitrust lawsuits in multiple countries.
Yeah, They're really not in a good state right now. Their hardware that they released last year was very mediocre at best, except for the Mac Mini. All praises to the Mac Mini. In fact, I might buy one next year, actually.
What for?
Well, if I replace that server, I need something with a high-speed Ethernet port. That, and it would also be really nice to drive my monitors at a full 60 hertz, at least. Oh.
Oh, what?
So my 230... So my two 32-inch monitors, they're capped at... They're 60 hertz monitors, but because of my dock situation, they're actually technically capped at 30 hertz right now, so that's kind of bothering me. And then once I do get the server properly configured, I want to put in a 10 gigabit Ethernet networking card in there. So I'd like to get a 10 gigabit Ethernet Mac, which the Mac Mini is the perfect candidate.
That's true.
So that, and it's like I love that I love the whole concept, and I love that computer so much. It's just I want to vote with my wallet and say, yes, give me more of this.
Yeah, I mean, the 2024 Mac Mini felt so Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an Apple product.
I don't
know what the rest were.
I mean, the power button on the bottom, that feels like an Apple thing.
Power button on the bottom. Yeah, even that decision was a total Apple decision. As dumb as it was.
But what else doesn't feel Apple? Apple Intelligence is not Apple.
No. I mean, part of it is ChatGPT.
That's true.
So.
And it might be Gemini, although, again, we'll find out if it's Gemini or not when this episode releases.
Yep. Either way, it's just, I mean, you know, despite that... Crap, the train just went off the rails. Darn it. Well, I can understand why Apple does not want to go on the talk show this year, because, I mean, when you think about it, what good do they have to report?
For, I mean, iOS 19, I mean, even... Actually, we shouldn't speak about the rumors, but iOS 19, from what it sounds like what it will be, it's not going to be... It's not going to be that great.
I just wish we need another macOS Snow Leopard / iOS 12. Where the highlighted feature is stability. That's what we need, though. Yeah, despite that WWDC probably already happened by the time I get this episode uploaded. I don't have a lot of hopes. I really don't.
This sounds like the perfect events for me to actually miss.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up missing it myself because I'll be on the road to Milwaukee. So, but I hope Apple is just stirring up the rumors to throw off Mark Gurman and such, because they've done that before, by the way. They've totally added in fake rumors just to confuse Mark Gurman and John Prosser, but I hope that's what they're doing now.
Like, I truly hope that they do not change the stupid icon shape and rename.
I don't even care about that. I just want stability.
Same.
But the redesign does not indicate stability.
Also, wasn't iOS 18 supposed to be a redesign?
Oh, but Apple intelligence is more important. If I recall, weren't you begging for a redesign for how many years now?
I've been begging for a redesign to make iOS look a lot simpler and not bloated, and to make it more stable.
What a painful time to be an Apple enthusiast. Maybe I should just go buy a Mac Mini right now to make myself happy. To remember the good old days when Apple made actually nice, good products.
I'm not even sure if I want to buy it. I'm not even sure if I want. The problem is that the competition isn't good anymore either, so I'm basically trapped.
Oh, dude. You do not believe how close I was to actually putting my SIM in this thing. I came real close.
I mean, even Google's ruined the Pixel.
They haven't ruined the Pixel 6 yet through software. That's really the only way you can ruin it.
But they ruined the newer Pixels.
Yeah, but I at least have this. And it's like, for my personal daily smartphone, I got the 13 Pro Max as my camera. I don't need to worry about camera performance on my not work device, so my only complaint is just, dude, there's too many freaking notifications on this thing. And the power buttons are the buttons are on the wrong side of the device and such, and so yeah, I still have my gripes, but it's like, guys, I need to make phone calls. I need to make phone calls. I can't make phone calls right now. It's not because my SIM's not installed. It's not because my hardware's defective. It's literally because iOS refuses to make a phone call.
And mind you, Apple doesn't even let you downgrade iOS on iPhones natively.
No. And like, this is legit causing problems with both of my bosses. They're both trying to call me at the same time. I'm not getting them because my phone's like, oh, what's a phone call? I don't know. Half the time, I can't send a text message out because I can't figure out SMS or iMessage or RCS even. There's just... I legit can't do basic smartphone things anymore.
You should downgrade your iPhone. If they let you, would you downgrade your iPhone XS back?
You know what? I probably would. There's not a single feature of iOS 18 that I actually like.
What version would you go back to?
I'd probably do 17.
Yeah, I would go back to 12 on my XS for Max for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
but maybe I should do a living with iOS 12 challenge.
Oh, do I miss those days?
Because I have an iPad Mini 3 and an iPhone XR that I could do that with.
Yep. Though, yeah, I'd probably just do at least 17, because there's some features that I still need to have. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember when continuity camera came. Was that 16?
16.
Yeah, that was 16. There's a few other continuity stuff that that's come out since, and it's just like, I legit can't think of anything new that I actually use with iOS 18 other than... Oh wait, doesn't that include RCS messaging?
Yes.
Oh. Shoot. Okay, that really was the one thing that iOS 18 brought that I actually do like, RCS messaging. Because both of my bosses use Android devices. My parents use Android devices. My sister is on Android. My grandparents are on Android.
The podcast group chat is probably your most frequent blue bubble.
Yeah. Oh, Talon's on Samsung too. So... Yeah, you guys really are my most frequent blue bubbles. Because I don't get many other blue bubble texts from other friends. So... But, so yeah, I really appreciate RCS. I just hate everything else about iOS 18. It needs to be cleaned up. We need to get out the brooms, the mops, and the bug zappers, and the vacuum cleaners, the Dysons.
Yeah. That's a reference to our last
Just tying
episode.
it back into our last episode. So, but yeah, that's my commentary about WWDC again. By the time this episode comes up, it's already happened, but I mean, we'll give you our commentaries once we come back from vacations and countries and etc., etc. But I have very low confidence and very low expectations that they're actually going to do what they need to do. So, yay, fun.
I'm not going to do this until after I get back, but I'm thinking maybe I should do a skit if iOS 19 winds up being unstable about explaining what Apple should do, and it's just me getting vacuums and bug swatters.
Oh, that'd be funny.
And
That'd be real
everything. And me fighting off the bugs. Like, I could even get, like, that would be hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get the fly swatters and the Dyson vacuums. All right. Shall we move on to our next topic?
Yes, but we've been rambling on for way too long, but, actually not way too long, but, but SteamOS is now available to the public via a beta, and it only works on AMD hardware, but runs some games better than Windows.
Oh! Oh! It's like... no, it can't just be because Windows sucks or anything, right?
Windows does suck, though. It literally sucks all your time away.
Oh. And your money.
That
Remember,
too.
Windows costs money to acquire. I mean, that's cool. Even though SteamOS is very likely to be optimized for gaming stuff, and I'm not a gamer, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So now it seems like it's going to get hard to. So now it seems like the Windows market share of Windows will decline even more. Because Valve, unlike all these other Linux companies, Valve actually has the reach to the point where they could start potentially we might even get some SteamOS PCs again.
That, and I mean, well, technically, the Steam Decks, you can actually use them as your primary computer, believe it or not. They've made docking stations that let you plug it into keyboards, mice, monitors, and you can actually use them as a full-fledged computer. So,
seems like Valve is the only one of the few good tech companies right now.
yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of good going on in both the Apple space and the PC space, especially considering what Nvidia is doing. Oh gosh, is how they're doing what they're doing isn't considered criminal is beyond me. Just, but yeah, I no excitement for Nvidia. I have some excitement for AMD, but not that much. No excitement for Intel because they've been behind on the 8-ball for how long now? And then, of course, they're ultimately limited by Windows, and it's like, how can you be excited about Windows?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I get so many comments on my Windows rants talking about how it made them all switch to Linux, despite that I'm saying I've switched to the Mac. Everyone talks about switching to Linux. It's like, okay.
To be honest, Linux will probably suck as much time as Windows now. And
I mean,
Linux
there
is-
are at least some versions that you can get that you don't need to tinker around with so much. So,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not
given how many
all-
bugs Windows has.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Linux is not all. Oh, you gotta type in the terminal into the terminal, and you gotta be like super computer nerd to use. It's like there are some legit versions of Linux that average Joes can use and can easily understand.
Is Ubuntu one? Isn't Ubuntu one of those?
That and Linux Mint is another distro. Oh, here's another distro that I think nobody actually knows is one.
Android.
Chrome OS.
And Android.
That too, yep, Android. Android is technically Linux. It's based on Linux. Just optimized for touch. And then yes, Chrome OS, same deal. Despite, I don't know why anyone would buy a Chromebook for personal computing, because the second the internet goes out, instant paperweight.
Most people have reliable internet connect. A lot of people have reliable internet connections. Like I used to, or I mean, I still have my old Chromebook. The Chromebooks are just great for low cost computing.
That still does not exist around here. We'll just get random outages for no reason.
Where you live, it's not practical, but where I live, we have more reliable internets. But Chromebooks do make some practical sense. If you don't want an actual computer to do more than web-related tasks on.
So, though, yeah, I think it's cool that SteamOS is taking off, and despite that, I'm not a gamer and it doesn't really apply to me. It's just good that Windows market share is still decreasing, because that's what it needs. They've gotten too comfortable with knowing the fact that, oh, we have basically the majority of the market. It doesn't matter how much our product sucks. People are going to buy it anyways. So, the more we can decrease Windows market share, the more likely Microsoft is to actually finally make an operating system that actually works.
Imagine if Microsoft announces, okay, today we're going to debloat. Imagine if Microsoft with Windows 12 decides to announce, okay, we are going to debloat Windows
by removing Copilot and Xbox Game Pass and all the other crap that you don't need.
Yes, and we're going to fix all the most of the bugs with Windows. You'd have no idea how loud the audience would cheer for that. Which, speaking of audiences, why doesn't Apple host live events now while all their other competitors have gone back to live events?
Control.
Exactly.
It's all about control.
Because, like, all of Apple's other competitors have gone back to live events while Apple still hasn't, and since the previous decade.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If I ever become CEO of Microsoft, I'm going to start the meeting out by saying, okay, today my first order of business is to fix Windows and to make Microsoft Office free.
First immediate operation. Copilot team, you're fired. Go home. Go find a new job.
Yeah, the Copilot team will get fired. I would keep the Surface line, but just get rid of the Surface tablets. What else are we going to do here at Microsoft? Oh yeah, we're going to make our products, make everything stable. And we're just going to try to gain market share back.
Yep.
But we know that's unrealistic.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that I'm I'm going to be building a server and I'm going to have to put Windows on it.
Oh, well, that's what Microsoft does. But shall I talk about something that's worse than Windows, though?
Worse than Windows? What can be worse? Oh, Oh,
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
Okay, you weren't joking about worse than Windows. Oh, gosh.
Yes, this is real.
Read the headline.
So, Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos is still working on affordable healthcare via filing patents from prison, and her partner founded a Theranos-like company that uses AI to detect cancer and other issues, starting with pet healthcare and leading to an affordable wearable health scanner.
Dude, it is a good thing I am editing this week's show.
Why? Oh.
That's
Yeah.
why.
Okay, I mean,
No.
they have stated that they understand why they're not being trustworthy, and that they should be taken with more credibility.
I
But,
thought she was banned from doing this. Was she
banned-
not?
She was banned from doing that from publicly owned companies. But this new company is a privately owned one.
Oh. An artificial intelligence disease today.
And mind you, she's got
Oh,
11.
gosh.
And mind you, she's got, I think, 7 years left in prison as of making this podcast episode in 2025.
That's not enough.
No.
That is just not enough.
I hope this company fails.
I hope so too, just by sheer name and a reputation alone.
Also, I mean,
Then again, AID.
yeah, I mean, using AI to detect cancer and other issues, like, I don't know. No.
There's too much that can go wrong. There's just too much that can go wrong.
Shall I move on to our next topic?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we basically covered what we predict is definitely going to be a complete and total disaster. Let's move on.
All right, so a new Tesla prototype has been spotted testing at their Fremont factory.
Oh, is it the Model S and X prototypes?
I don't know. I think it was a Model Y prototype, but I saw a video.
I
on
doubt
Twitter,
it's Model Y.
Yeah, because it's just remodeled it, but maybe it's an. It looked big enough that it was probably an X prototype, but
Yeah, I mean, the S and the X are kind of due for another facelift at some point again. Where I genuinely, I think this is time for a really good powertrain redesign on these vehicles, especially for the Model S, because Model S is supposed to be like the flagship performance vehicle, and then the
Yeah.
Model X is just their Halo car. Well, Model X and the Cybertruck are technically their Halo products, but no, like the Model S in general, I think they need to switch that from 400 volt to 800 volt architecture, just like the Cybertruck.
yeah.
Some people say that they want Tesla to put steer-by-wire in it, which genuinely, I don't even understand how the Cybertruck is shipping with steer-by-wire, because last I checked, it is still a legal requirement that the steering wheel has to be physically attached to the steering rack. That's impossible with steer-by-wire. So, how they're getting away with that is beyond me. I have no clue how Tesla is shipping these vehicles. It does not make sense to me. So, but yeah, people say, oh, they want Tesla to bring steer-by-wire to the S and X. My big thing is I just want them to switch from 400 volt to 800 volt architectures
Same.
for better charging. And well, we're still waiting on V4 cabinets and such, but no, the big thing for me is, dude, it's time to update that battery architecture. It's time to update the voltage and all that. And I don't know, considering that these are also supposed to be luxury products, And now that the Model 3 and Y have air-conditioned seats, how about massaging seats? Maybe? Does your mom's GLS have massaging seats?
No, I don't think so.
It's probably an option then that she just didn't get.
Well, she also got you, so...
Oh.
Yeah, it's 2018.
Yeah, 2018... I mean, my car, when it came out in 2017, offered massaging seats.
Oh.
So, I would assume it should be available on your on the Mercedes GLS.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but and maybe my mom's car has it. I just haven't really dug around in my mom's car settings to figure that out. And all the other cars in my family are too old to have that, since my father hates buying new. Since you think your father hates buying new vehicles, my father just hates buying new vehicles in general.
Oh yeah.
For my dad to
upgrade
I'm
his surprised
cars.
he almost bought a 2022 GMC Sierra AT4 3500.
That's awesome.
He almost bought it.
Why didn't he buy it?
Somebody beat him to it.
Darn it.
Yeah. So
And
I'm
he
looking
needs
around
that.
the country again. He claims that he wants a 3500. I'm sorry, for what he's doing, he does not need a 1-ton truck.
Well, my mom also doesn't need an SUV, so...
Yeah. Though I'm even surprised, for the first time ever, he is actually considering new.
Finally. Meanwhile, on the other hand, my dad usually upgrades his cars every 2 years, and he's decided that even though his M6 is currently out of commission right now, he decided that he's going to keep his 2016 M6 for longer.
What's up with the M6?
Oh, it also now has a misfiring cylinder.
Oh. Lovely.
And others.
I drove my dad's truck yesterday. I stalled it twice just trying to drive it to the office. It's not even a manual transmission.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing is such a piece of junk. It needs serious help. It can't idle. I have in order for that thing to idle, I have to shift it into neutral and still give it gas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of shifting, my dad said that he would be willing to teach me the paddle shifters on my car if I want to learn.
Oh, it's not really that hard. It's just put the car into manual mode and
my dad wants to show me first beforehand, so that way I don't wind up toasting the transmission on it. But I probably won't do that anyway. Just
the car's a lot smarter than he thinks it is.
Yeah.
Because my car, if I don't shift fast enough, or if it needs to downshift because I'm driving too slow, it just does it automatically.
Again, my dad's also been getting into stick shift cars a lot lately by the way, my father now also has a 2007 Audi RS4 now.
Aha, let me guess, also with a stick?
Yes, and so his M6 is automatic, but his Audi RS4 is stick, and he uses. And actually, I was driving with him today, and first of all, its infotainment system is really good for 2007. Like, it doesn't have a touchscreen, but it has a full-fledged screen on it. And but I remember watching my dad drive that thing, and I'm like, how can he even do that? Because it's so slow. I mean, I get that it's possible, but he just had to constantly figure out how to keep shifting his car.
Not really. Despite that, it does look difficult on the surface. It's actually a lot easier than you think.
Yeah, I'm sure it is easy. I'm sure it is easier to drive stick. I just haven't. I don't know if I'll ever learn how to drive stick or not.
Well, ask him.
Yeah.
Ask him to teach you now that he's got a stick shift car.
He actually has two.
What, is the F-150 stick as well?
No, he has a 1995 GTR Skyline, I think. Nissan.
Oh, uh-huh.
That's also stick.
Yep. Yeah, truly. The shifting part is actually really easy. The hard part is getting the car moving from a stop. That's the hard part.
Yeah, I've seen that, but... Shall we move on to our next topic now?
Absolutely. I can't think of how we got... Oh, yeah, the Tesla prototype. So, yeah. Next topic.
Alright, so Tesla is being forced to remove all 8 of their supercharging stations from the New Jersey Turnpike.
Not good.
No.
Yeah, I put this topic in here. So, I saw your tweet, by the way, about how you are against turnpikes or toll roads.
Oh, yes! I'm very against toll roads.
Here's the thing, though. And it's like, okay, I don't think you've ever actually been on a turnpike.
No, I have not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because
here's my reasoning why I don't like toll roads.
Yeah. Go for it.
I don't like toll roads because, first of all, they're oftentimes managed by private debt collection agencies to where on some toll roads you don't actually have to pay them and they can't come after you. But getting back on topic, first of all, you basically are let's take I'm gonna use the I'm gonna use the Ohio Turnpike as an example, I'm gonna use the Ohio Turnpike as an example.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that turnpike.
Let's say you want to drive on I-90 in Ohio and you need to go somewhere that way, and you don't want to. You should in theory take I-75 down I-70 and down 79 and 68 and then back on 70. You should in theory do that to avoid all the tolls from the Mackinac Bridge, but the problem with the turnpike is that...
Okay, the Mackinac Bridge is not that bad.
Yeah, no.
It really isn't.
It's the only way.
Legit, all of that money, it doesn't go to the state. It goes towards maintaining the bridge.
Yeah.
And that bridge is very key infrastructure for Michigan. So...
Yeah,
that it's like, it's $4. It's just $4 per car, unless you get the Mac Pass if you're a frequent user of the bridge. But for those just traveling through, it's only $4, and that's it.
I mean, my main problem with toll roads is that they're basically, like with the Mackinac Bridge, you mentioned how it's basically, like, they're basically forcing you to pay for a bridge that could otherwise easily be freed. It could be free, and that's the same thing with toll roads.
I don't think so.
That's the same thing with toll roads that drives me nuts, because the Ohio Turnpike, let's say you want to go on I-90, I-80, and I-76 in Ohio, because that's the Ohio Turnpike. What if you want to go that way and not have to pay a toll, and you have to stay on I-90 until you get to...
Yeah, it does pose a problem with that.
Until you get far enough away to where I-90 isn't tolled anymore, you have to use US 20, which is going to be so friggin' slow. Well, actually, probably isn't going to be too slow, but it's not great. And of course, the problem with toll roads is that they're basically forcing you to pay money for something that should be funded by the state, which, again, that's a whole other can of worms that we're not going down there. But there's one case scenario when I'm a little bit more okay with toll roads, and that's like what they do in Florida, which is if it's not the main, if it's in most of Florida's toll roads, are not the main one. Are not the main roads. Like they're like side freeways and bypasses and whatnot. I'm fine with. If you want to toll those, okay, because those aren't necessarily the main ways, and there are adequate alternatives. But when it comes to like the Ohio Turnpike, Indiana Toll Road, all the toll roads in Illinois, New York, all those other states, no, I'm sorry.
So, here's the thing that I think makes you a bit jaded on the whole turnpike thing, and it would really help if you've actually been on one in the first place. So for one, the Mackinac Bridge thing, I totally get it. For one, that bridge is almost 5 miles long. That's a lot of material you got to prevent from rusting, and a lot of material that will need to be replaced every now and again. So it's not a cheap bridge to maintain. So the toll plaza there, I totally get why it's there, and it is definitely needed, especially considering how crucial that bridge is for the state of Michigan. So there's that. But on the turnpikes especially, and this is where you need to experience it to understand so much of it, but these highways are very much often in much nicer condition than your standard free interstate. Now, yeah, sometimes you'll run into construction when they're trying to maintain it, but they're often frequently maintaining these highways a lot more than I-75 through Michigan, for example. A lot more. The roads are often in nicer condition, and a big thing that I like about turnpikes especially, and this is where it ties back into our topic here, the service plazas. They're, for whatever reason, I don't understand why. It's all legal and regulation stuff, but in the US at least, and I think parts of Europe too, I think Europe's kind of set up this way, though I'm not 100% sure how that goes, but in the US, the only way you can have a dedicated on-ramp and off-ramp that goes directly to your business and not some other public road, it has to be on a turnpike.
Okay, can I actually explain the logistics for this? Because I actually know why.
You do know why. Good. Explain this.
So,
because I don't remember.
So the Ohio Turnpike and the Pennsylvania Turnpike and all these other toll roads were built before the interstate highway system was put into place. Therefore, they're not up to interstate highway standards. It's technically a violation of interstate highway standards to have services on the bridge, to have on and off ramps go directly to a business. So therefore, but when they started building out the interstate highway system back in 1956, they had to build it would be way too expensive to build freeways interstates right next to these pre-existing toll roads. So therefore, they grandfathered a lot of toll roads into the interstate highway system. And so that's why you have on and off ramps leading to businesses on the toll roads, because they're technically before the interstate highway system. However,
so what about Kansas then?
The Kansas Turnpike was also before the interstate highway system.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because the Kansas Turnpike, I believe it was built in like 1951, 52, 53, that range, right before the interstate highway system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Though personally, I love the idea of just pulling off on an exit into these service plazas. You got gas and electricity right there. Why do you need to go deep into town to get gas or electricity? You got plaza right there, right off the highway, where you can get gas, electricity, bathrooms, coffees. What's your pleasure? I love the idea of these service plazas, especially on long distance trips.
Yeah.
So I love the turnpikes for this very reason. Actually, it's just, yes, I hate that you do have to you're effectively paying more money on top of your you already pay road taxes through your gas and your registration and such, and I'm sure at some point they're going to find a way to integrate EV charging into that as well. But yeah, a lot of this money collected from it goes straight back into the turnpike itself, keeping it maintained and a nice travel way. And so I love the idea of turnpikes, but at the same time, at least provide one option that doesn't nickel and dime you for everything you do. Will the road quality be nice? No, but it's at least an option. And so, yeah, I love the idea of turnpikes, but one big thing that's bothering me, and we're talking about the New Jersey Turnpike now, getting back on topic here. New Jersey put up for auction someone else to manage the plazas and someone else to manage the turnpike. Strangely enough, it's not within the state. The company in charge of managing it is not based in the state of New Jersey, which you'd think they would be because it's the New Jersey Turnpike. No, do you know who's managing it?
New Yorkers.
Nope. I'll give you a hint. They're not even based in America.
Wait a second, Canadians?
They're not based in North America.
Europeans?
Ireland.
What?
It's an Irish company that now operates the New Jersey Turnpike.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's dumb and stupid. And apparently, this company is not a big fan of Tesla. Because they decided, oh, now that they fully own and operate all the service plazas along the turnpike, hey, Tesla, guess what? Screw you. Get off our land. And so now, you're not going to find Tesla superchargers right off the turnpike exits at the service plazas anymore, which is problematic for a bunch of reasons. Number one, well, Apple Green, that's the company that operates the plazas now. Apple Green wants to do it because, oh, they want to put their own chargers in and have full control of everything. But there's a long laundry list of problems to this whole thing. Number one, they plan on putting fewer chargers in that compared to Tesla superchargers. So, okay, now we've got less plugs than before. That's great. Number two, they're not likely to be high power. I mean, I hear rumors that they're going to put in Alpitronics, but, well, Alpitronic doesn't just have 400 kilowatt chargers. They also offer some lower power stuff, and Apple Green has not done a good job at selecting the greatest hardware to put into their sites that are existing today. And yeah, so fewer ports. The question of power output is in question now. And then we got the price.
Oh no.
We got Tesla along the New Jersey Turnpike was charging about 38 cents a kilowatt hour. Apple Green, 69 cents a kilowatt hour.
Now I know why the... Wait a second! Apple Green is technically forcing Tesla to get off so they can charge higher prices. But wait a second. Isn't that a form of... doesn't that violate antitrust?
Oh, I figured he'd catch on. Apparently New Jersey hasn't. So luckily Tesla had prepared for this because the whole auction was completed 3 years ago, and it just took Apple Green this long to finally say, hey, Tesla, yeah, guess what? Screw you, get off our land. So thankfully Tesla in the background has been building chargers off of the interstate, off of I-95, off
Well,
of
the New Jersey Turnpike also does have an independent section that's separate from I-95.
Oh, well. Oh, yeah, that's right. But, yeah, so Tesla has been building superchargers off of the turnpike to account for this, but... Dude, that still sucks. I mean, I already told you, I hate the prices and the fact that, yeah, it's a toll road. It's annoying. I get it. But I love the option to have a nice, high-quality, properly maintained road with where you don't have to go super far out of your way for amenities on a long road trip. And now we're losing a big one.
I mean, I personally think they should offer... I personally think that both toll roads and toll roads and free roads should be offered for better uses. I totally think... Never mind, I can't say this, but one thing I like about Florida is how come they have the Florida's Turnpike, which is a toll road, obviously. But then if you want free interstates, you can use those too. Well, until you get down on I-75 in the Everglades, then there's a brief time that you gotta get on US 41 if you want to avoid tolls.
I thought there wasn't a toll on I-75. Through that stretch.
No, there is on Alligator Alley.
I didn't see one going through on Street View.
Because what happens, basically the context for that is because they were initially going to build I-75 to be a lot closer to US 41 when they initially decided to extend it to Miami, because believe it or not, I-75 was only supposed to go to Tampa at first. But But once they started building it, they were going to build it along US 41. But can you guess why they couldn't build it right next to US 41? Hint, hint. It also has to do with why that stretch of US 41 is still 2 lanes in Florida today.
Well, it's a swampy wetland, for one.
Yeah, it's very environmentally sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, they couldn't build it along that, so they had to build it on top of the Alligator Alley toll road. So that is why that part of I-75 is tolled. But I mean, for the most part, I like how Florida offers both free and toll roads.
Yeah. Yeah, in my opinion, that's how it should be done. Provide the option for those who either want to save money or drive on a nicer highway. Though for a key... Yeah, I make an exception for the Mackinac Bridge because it really is key infrastructure that does need money to be maintained. Though I was not in support of turning I-75 into a whole toll road because I know exactly what the government is going to do with that.
Oh, wait. Oh, they weren't just going to turn I-75 into a toll road. They were going to turn...
Yeah, all the other interstates. Yeah, I know that. 94, 96.
And US 127. No, I-69 wasn't going to be tolled, but 94, 96, 75, and US 127 were all considering adding tolls too.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, and Indiana
I know exactly what our governor would have done with that money.
Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention that Indiana is also now considering tolling all the interstates in that state?
I mean, it is the crossroads of America.
Oh,
Dude, that's a lot of highway infrastructure to maintain. Come to think of it.
Oh, do you have any idea how much traffic would build up on US 31, 40, and all the other US roads if they did that? Do you have any idea how much traffic would build up on those roads?
Probably a lot.
Like they were considering, Virginia actually considered making I-81 a toll road through that entire state, and of course we all know what would happen to US 11 if that happened. It'd become the new I-405. You wouldn't even want to... Houses on US 11 would get dirt cheap, probably. Because you'd never get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of mixed opinions on tolls because, for one, our highway infrastructure is less than ideal, especially here in Michigan. My gosh! But then again, I know what our governor would do with that money. And it would not involve roads. So.
It would involve private jets, probably.
That or money laundering or who knows what. Gosh, our governor is absolutely terrible.
Shall we move on to our next topic?
Sure thing. What is next?
Alright, so XAI is paying Telegram $300 million to integrate Grok into all customers for a year.
Wow. More AI BS. Yay.
Not really, but... Shall I move on to our
I'm
next
supposed
topic?
to be excited for this?
This next topic is also just as stupid.
Yeah, iPhone 17 reportedly featuring some A18... Oh, same A18... What?
Yes.
I thought we just fixed this!
Same! At this point, why even bother releasing the iPhone 17?
So what was the point of A18 Pro and A17 Pro? What?
The point was because they have artificial intelligence disease. And Apple's becoming
We
rotten.
just fixed this!
When you have artificial intelligence disease, things like this tend to rise. But also, this rumor could be fake, you know. We should remember that.
I hope so. It better be, because we just fixed it! Alright, and then what do we have? Apple Watch Series 11.
Hypertension. It might have hypertension. It might have hypertension detection, which will probably come in the Apple Watch Ultra 3 as well.
Not even sure what that is because I'm not even a health expert. So,
I mean, that's cool, I guess. It feels a little bit that feels Apple.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just wow. There is nothing new and exciting in hardware anymore.
Well, there might be soon, but we just can't.
Hopefully.
But in other news, we have one more topic, which is that we're out of topics.
Uh-huh. What's this? Sometimes they forget that I'm podcasting.
What's going on?
Yeah, my mom texted me, "Oh, are you gonna come down and eat pork chops or something?" Like, I'm in the middle of a podcast here.
Doesn't your mom know you're recording?
Sometimes she will know every single detail you don't want her to know. Other times she'll be completely oblivious as to what's going on.
That's probably well, at least you're planning on moving out someday.
Mm-hmm. So, yep, I'm out of topics, and
Maybe you should come on down and eat pork chops.
I probably should. I'm a bit hungry, and I gotta pack tonight because I'll be leaving immediately after work. So
Yeah, I'll have to pack. I'll have to start packing the day before I leave. But as always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Ted Magger from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we're signing off for now, and we hope to see you all in the next episode. And as always, peace out.
See ya.